information is free.
The law.
Their ears open.
The Johnny Rocket Launchpad. And now, here's Johnny.
Hey, it's Johnny Rocket here at the Johnny Rocket Launchpad, launching ideas in your direction. The Northwest's only rock and roll libertarian radio show. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Kurt Nelson.
Yes, sir.
My voice of reason, the beautiful Heather Nixon.
Hello.
And we are always launching ideas in your direction. And tonight we're celebrating our 50th show.
5-0.
Woo! 5-0. 5-0. And here at the Johnny Rocket Launchpad, you can always check out all of our previous episodes at johnnyrocketlaunchpad.com. If you like us on Facebook at /JR Launchpad, and you can check us out at Twitter at JR Launch. And we are on all these great stations: Rivera Radio Network, CMG Global Radio, NWCZ Radio, Liberty Talk.fm. And this is our 50th episode. And what way to celebrate our 50th episode?
This is a big one.
This is a big one. We are honored to have the chairman of the executive body of the Libertarian National Committee of the United States of America, Nicholas Sarwark.
Wow.
You know, this is one way to celebrate 50th show. I mean, you could have just gone to Spencer's and got one of those over-the-hill things. But
we also
this is
got
good, too.
We did get McDonald's, too.
Yeah,
So.
and we're not drinking PBR tonight. We're drinking Heineken.
I told the guys I was getting strippers, but I didn't really.
Yeah.
You didn't?
Damn it.
Oh, yeah, they'll be here any minute. Don't leave.
Oh, okay, good.
It wasn't that girl you were talking to in the alley.
We're on a budget.
Right on.
Yeah.
So we have Chairman Nicholas Sarwark. He's you were a former deputy public defender in Colorado State, previous vice chair of the Colorado Libertarian Party. You're a businessman experienced with computers in consultation and sales, originally from Phoenix, Arizona, and then you're now back in Phoenix, Arizona. You've been in the chair since 2014. You like single malt Scotch whiskey, and you are married with kids.
Those are all true things.
Rock and roll. I'm
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Thank you very much. We enjoyed having you on. No, this is great. So you're a dad. You just became a dad for the third time. Congratulations.
Thanks very much. It's exciting. It's fun. It's the reason that you take the time to do stuff with the Libertarian Party is, you know, if you have kids, you want them to grow up in a better world than you are in.
Absolutely.
Boy or girl? The newest.
This one was a girl.
Nice.
Her name is
Right on. Ava?
Ava.
All right.
Congratulations.
Right on, man.
That's awesome. That's great.
We got girl, boy, girl.
Perfect. Good.
No doubt.
Good balance. And now the boy will be protecting the girls.
Indeed.
Or the other way around in my family.
Well, it's 2000.
Really, what that means is he'll never get to use the bathroom. Ever.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
He gets told what to do a lot.
Right.
That'll continue. Once my other daughter starts tag teaming.
Right. Yep.
Nicholas, how long have you been with the Libertarian Party?
Oh gosh, I'm actually a second generation libertarian.
Mhm.
I have been a libertarian since I was like 10 or 12 years old, going to Maricopa County meetings with my father here in Phoenix.
Right on.
And then, you know, when I became an adult and I was able to vote and stuff, I got involved in probably 99. So was that 16 years now?
Yeah.
Wow. Nice.
So my entire adult life.
That's awesome. And you have like a history. Are you selling cars now?
I am.
Very cool.
We actually own, my grandfather started a used car dealership in Phoenix.
Fantastic.
It's the oldest used car dealership in Phoenix.
That's awesome.
And my father took it over. My grandfather got older, and, you know, it was sort of one of those life choices. You know, do you let a business that's been around for that long, you know, operating with integrity, do you let it go, or do you step up and kind of be the third generation? So I did a couple other things, so I know what I'm missing.
That's great.
Right.
That's great.
Right on.
My mom lives out there in Arizona, Phoenix area.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
I've been out there too, and it's great except for it's just really hot. It's a dry heat.
Yeah, it's really hot in the summer. This is bragging season,
Right.
you know, because now I tell everybody, I'm like, well, I don't know about all that snow and stuff, but my tomatoes are not as big as I'd like them to be right now. It's tough. It's tough all around. Yeah, we have two growing seasons if you garden. You know, it's sort of like the whole January to about April, and then you get another one in the fall where things can live.
Where things can live.
Yeah.
There's a lot of space in the middle. Nothing can live.
When it's hot, hot. It's hot. You just stay inside.
Yeah, like
you don't
like
go outside.
no joke kind of hot.
Like you just maybe a couple minutes to the car.
Right.
And that's about it. That's as much outside time as you get.
Yeah, you'll have days over 120.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Do you have like auto start on your car where it turns on and like you turn the AC on? Like I'm from Alaska and we use like remote start to warm the car up.
Oh, yeah,
it seems like you do the exact
engine
opposite
heaters.
there.
Yeah. No. Here, although you know those like dashboard shade things.
Yeah.
You see around. Everyone has those here.
Oh, I'll bet.
Those are for real a thing here.
That makes sense.
You know, a lot of people, in the car business, a lot of people won't buy a car with leather seats.
That makes sense.
You'll burn yourself.
Yeah. You probably seriously hurt yourself.
I've gotten serious burns from seatbelt buckles. The
Been
new
there.
stations here, they don't do the whole egg on a sidewalk thing. They actually grill burgers on car dashboards. Like
Wow.
medium.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
That's
crazy.
nuts, man.
I've seen videos of that.
No, it's intense. It's an intense place.
It's fun though.
It's like the triumph of the human spirit.
It's kind of like America there still.
Yeah.
People still walk around with guns and nobody has a aneurysm.
They do. A lot of open carry here.
Yeah.
A lot.
I know. And everyone, my mom has a gun in her glove compartment.
Really?
Yeah, just
Mine
carries it
does
around.
too. Mine does, and another Alaska thing, but
It's anything desert. It could be a hot desert or a cold desert. It doesn't matter.
Yes,
It's
desert
that
or
mentality.
tundra, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So, Mr. Sarwark, what is your personal goal and legacy you want to leave behind as chair of the National Libertarian Party?
I want the Libertarian Party to be the political party that you go to if you believe in human freedom. I mean, that's my goal. It's modest, but So for a long time, the Libertarian Party has been a little bit marginalized. People have said, those are just wacky-doos, crazy people.
Right.
And, I feel like we are at the core of what the American experiment is supposed to be. We're at the core of what, the civil rights era was about. We're at the core of what the abolitionist cause was about. We are the party that embodies the idea that you should be allowed to pursue happiness in whatever way you want to, as long as you don't hurt anybody.
Right. Yeah, we're all about that stuff. I just don't understand how liberty has just kind of become a bad word.
There's some serious house cleaning that we have to do. And I hate to take a fun show like this, especially when you've got your little Spencer's Gift Over the Hill stuff, 50th episode.
We do.
There's some house cleaning that we have to do where we need to show people that the liberty movement, and specifically the Libertarian Party, because that's what I'm in charge of, that we are caring about other people, that we're nice people.
Right.
I think a lot of the rap that the liberty movement gets comes from the fact that this is a swearing kind of show, right?
Yeah,
Or
you can
no?
say
Yes,
fuck and ass.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah.
Trying to be careful. I never know when I might be in court again.
No, you're clear. You're clear for the discharge.
Discourage assholes from joining. I think that's the best way that I've found to put it about, kind of what my philosophy is on that. Because we're libertarians, right? So you're right to be a racist, bigoted asshole. We'll support that 100%.
Right. You're right to be, but we don't
I'm
encourage
not
that
going
behavior.
To say, I'm not going to recruit at an asshole convention.
right.
And I am under no obligation to make you feel comfortable being a bigot. You have a right to do it, but you don't have to feel comfortable about it.
Right. No, absolutely.
That's where I think that, we need to do some work as far as, there's a saying, if you hang out with any Christians, the idea that you don't preach to people, you live your witness. You go out and show people what libertarianism's about. You don't tell them, and you look at like the Libertarian Party in Louisiana, they had a member whose barn burnt down and they had no insurance. So they went out and did a barn raising. Like they just all showed up, volunteer, no state involvement, no government involvement whatsoever. They just went out and helped somebody. You look at the Oklahoma Libertarian Party, the Muslim community in Oklahoma gets treated pretty badly, especially by the Republican Party there. And they wanted to have a Capitol Day where they went and they handed out Arabic copies of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, to try and show their legislators that you can be a Muslim and an American and it's okay, and educate. And there were a lot of counter protesters who have a total right to say whatever they want to say. That's fine. Who were basically trying to intimidate these people going to the Capitol to lobby their legislatures. The Oklahoma Libertarian Party organized and set up basically a human shield or human chain to make sure that those people could get into the Capitol building without being intimidated or, kind of
very cool
shouted down. They didn't interfere with the counter protesters. You get to say what you want to say, but you can't stop other people from using their freedom of speech. And that's a libertarian value, regardless of how you feel about Islam or the place of religion or whatever. The value of letting other people have their say is, something that we really care about, and that commitment to support that, even if it's something where that's not a popular position. Sure. That's what I want the Libertarian Party to be identified with.
Absolutely.
This idea that we're both caring and kind, but we're also not afraid to take on unpopular causes if it's the right thing to do.
Right on.
I absolutely love that you said the Libertarian Party should maybe clean house, because a lot of times those negative, hostile voices are the loudest voices, especially on the internet where everyone's sitting in the safety of their home.
Right.
We had some of them know how to find me. I'm shocked.
Yeah, we just recently witnessed, we had a college student, a member of a liberty movement on campus, and he was stepping up and wanted to be part of the Libertarian Party, and he joined one of the groups, and the next thing you know, he's being called a statist and a commie, and he said, whoa, maybe I don't belong here. And
we lost somebody, right?
A lot of us private messaged him and said, that guy's a dick, don't listen to him. But unfortunately, that dick is everywhere.
Right. Well, and that's the thing is, when I ran for chair in Columbus, I told the delegates, elect me to be the least important person in this party, because everyone that goes out and works a fair booth or runs for office and steps up to fight in their community for freedom is more important than me. I'm just, a figurehead. I'm just like a name on the letterhead, and I sign shit and, whatever.
Right.
One of the things that I think that I can do in my term as chair is kind of show people that kind, not an asshole, is the head libertarian. I always joke when people post links to the purity quiz about how libertarian are you? I'm always like, I got 110. I'm in charge.
Right.
I'm as libertarian as you can be.
Sure.
I get to set the rules. To some level, I get to do that. And this guy, whoever he is, send him a PM, send him a link to the YouTube of my speech that I gave in California.
Right. Show up, be nice, and win, right?
The head of the party says, be nice.
Oh, we're totally going to do that. We're going to send it to him as soon as we get home.
So I don't care what wackadoo you're talking to in, Podunk County, wherever, who's being a jackass. The head of the party says, this is what we're about.
Awesome. Speaking of activism, Johnny posted today on Facebook that you were going to be on our show, and we had one of our listeners submit a question. So, Johnny, why don't you throw that at him?
Gavin Keefe asks, how do you convert armchair activists to a real activist?
It's a good question.
Good job, Gavin.
Yeah, Gavin's on point.
Yeah, because that's a tough question.
You have to give them something to do, and it has to be something to do where they feel like it's valuable.
Right.
That's the only way you do it. My go-to for that is candidates. I like to run candidates. I think that more libertarians need to step up and run for office. So that's the best way. If you can talk to that armchair activist and say, look, we'll help you get on the ballot if you'll stand up and offer to your fellow citizens a libertarian option to vote for in this district, in this election. We'll help you do it. We'll help you, knock on doors. Just stand up and do it.
Nice.
And then if they say no, and a lot of people will, because it's a little intimidating, and I'm not going to say that it's not, then you turn around and say, look, if we can find somebody who does want to step up and run for office, I know you don't want to be that guy that's out, kind of in people's face pushing libertarianism. Will you help them out? Will you help them make some phone calls and raise some money? Will you file their goofy campaign finance reports with the state? Will you do whatever is necessary to kind of help with this campaign? And that, for a lot of people, is the way that they kind of get
excited
about it.
First
taste is free kind of thing. To the extent that a political party is like dealing drugs. You want them to get hooked on the idea that they're doing something. But the key to that, you need to look at running for office as a libertarian from the right perspective. When you run for office as a libertarian, your goal as that candidate is to give people a libertarian option to vote for. If they don't want half-assed freedom where, someone cut the right half off my freedom or someone cut the left half off my freedom and I'm left with half a freedom here.
Right.
If they want all of the freedom, you step up to give them that option.
Right.
That's your goal.
Sure.
And, not everybody's going to take that option right away. But much like a football player for a football team that's not very good, your job is to go out and give those people somebody to root for for, even though you might lose that game.
Every libertarian has a key issue that is more important to them than others, right? Mine, for example, is property rights. What is your key issue?
That's a tough one. I'm going to cheat and say all of them. One of the ones that's been more key for me after I spent 5 years as a public defender, keeping poor people out of cages professionally, is ending the war on drugs. It's just, it's brutal what we do to our fellow citizens, where we lock people up in cages because of choices they want to make about what they put in their own body. That just has to stop. And if I can stop that, I'll do whatever I can.
Being a public defender, were you ever attacked by libertarians because of that job that you did and who you were employed by?
I squared the circle myself early. Some people asked me the question, but not in any sort of confrontational way. The way I squared that circle is, look, as soon as you want to take away the power of the state to put people in cages, if you want to get rid of enough criminal laws that you can fire a couple prosecutors, then you can fire me. Nice. I don't mind if you take my job away, but as long as the government's going to spend my money to lock poor people in cages, then they're going to spend a little bit of extra money to ensure that they have a constitutional defense. As you can see, all the people that confronted me with that got both barrels.
You told them to shut the fuck up, right? Kiss my ass.
Shut the front door. You have quoted saying from a book from Rabbi Sachs, good leaders create followers. Great leaders create leaders. How do you want to apply this to the party?
I want people to step up. I mean, frankly, if you want to show up in Orlando in 2016 and you can do the job of Libertarian National Committee chair better than I can, I'll step aside.
Right on. It's not like a grab for power. Right.
I want you to take all of the jobs. I want to let other people bloom and give them, the trick to creating leaders instead of followers is you give people the power to do what they think is right. And you show them that you'll back them up as long as they're trying and they're applying the right principles.
That makes sense.
You let them go and do their thing.
That's great. You give them a purpose.
Right. And you get out of their way. You say, look, you want to try and do this? These are the reasons why I think maybe that's not the best idea or whatever, but go for it. Do your best. I'm behind you 100%. If it doesn't work out, I'm there for advice if you want to, reevaluate for next time. That book that I read that I got that quote out of is a biography of the 7th Lubavitcher Rebbe, Menachem Mendel Schneerson, who died in like the 90s or something, early 2000s, I forget. But probably the most influential Jewish personality, most influential rabbi of the modern times.
Wow.
But what he did a lot of was, he had a policy, he would never say anything negative about people.
That's great.
If he disagreed with somebody else, and he had some sharp disagreements with other rabbis or, other people, he'd never call them out by name. He'd talk about that idea and that idea is wrong and, this is not a thing we should do. But unless he was saying something positive, he wouldn't call people out by name. I'm not a rabbi, right?
So I'm not going to do that, but
reading that biography,
I'm not held to that standard, right?
Try to do that more. Look, I don't need to attack other people. I need to show what my positive vision is. And the other thing is he would try and find areas of agreement with people and reasons to, sort of care about or love or support someone, even if it was someone who was not a great person. Try and find that thing that you can agree on or that thing to admire in that person.
Right.
And kind of hone in on that before you open your mouth and say your next words.
Right on.
Just remember, do you guys want to talk about the Rand Paul thing?
Yeah, we could talk about it. We have just a few minutes before our next commercial break, but go ahead, man.
Rand Paul is sort of a complicated thing for libertarians, right? Because he's a Republican. He supports Republicans. He campaigns against libertarians. He's on a different team than we are. But at the same time, there are some libertarians who want to go out and say, look, if you're supporting Rand Paul, you're a terrible person, you're a statist, you're a jerk, whatever.
Sure.
And you have to think, long term, it's much better to say, look, we agree with you on we want more liberty. And we agree with you that we need to start, curbing back the drug war.
Right.
We think that our path is going to be more effective over time than working within the Republican Party. But we can do that in a way where you don't have to, go out and attack them or say, look, if you're going to give money to Rand Paul, we don't even want your money in the Libertarian Party. I want their money. I don't think that there's a static fundraising pie or support pie. I know there are people who want to give money to Rand Paul and give money to the Libertarian Party.
Why?
So why pick fights with them?
Exactly.
You know, like picking fights. I mean, I don't mind taking swings at Rand Paul. You know, this latest Iran letter thing.
Sure, your open letter.
Or his gay marriage comments,
Sure.
you know, this week are insane. But, you know, I want to take swipes at the issues and say, look, this is what libertarians do, and this is where it's different from what Republicans do.
Right.
And I try not to even say his name when I'm saying stuff like that because I'm trying to not be so negative. Everybody knows who I'm talking about.
Right.
It's wise.
No reason to pick the fight.
You know, let's say you don't have a choice between, you know, you have a Democrat and a Republican. Who is going to push the needle closer to liberty?
I'll tell you a secret that no one else knows. My default preference, if I have to vote for somebody who's not a libertarian, if I don't have an option on that ballot, I vote for whoever's not in office. I don't care who's in office. I vote for the other guy.
That makes sense. They have to prove themselves.
Right. You know, I figure whatever it is, let's change it.
Right.
But if I have a libertarian, I vote for a libertarian. And that's where I feel like, you know, the real wasted vote is the vote where somebody goes in that booth and they're done with the old parties. And they're just like, I'm not doing this back up and hit the wall and drive forward and hit the wall and back up and hit the wall.
Right.
Over and over and over and over and over until my car's destroyed. I'm done.
Sure.
And then they get to a race and they don't have a libertarian option. That's a wasted vote because we had that vote and we wasted it.
This is Johnny Rocket here at the Johnny Rocket Launchpad, launching ideas in your direction. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Kurt Nelson.
Yes, sir.
Voice of reason, the beautiful Heather Nixon.
Yes.
And the chairman of the Libertarian National Party, Nicholas Sarwark. And we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to listen to Billy's Burns, and we'll be right back.
Let me tell you something that really chaps my ass. Hey, I'm Billy Burns, and let me tell you what really chaps my ass. You know, I was thinking the other day, who's the governor of California? Jerry Brown, Moonbeam himself, right? And he was one of the original loony, lefty, early progressive, neo-hippie politicians in the United States. And I was thinking about it. I thought, who was a big supporter of his when he first got into office? And I thought, oh, yeah, his big boosters were the People's Temple and Jim Jones. Jim Jones, everybody remember him? Jonestown, Guyana? Sort of a psycho, loony, socialist, hippie cult that ended in a mass suicide. And that, to me, that's the definition of a cult. If you end in a room with a bunch of people and going, okay, let's all drink the poison now and go out to space, just heaven with the alien Jesus, you're in a cult. You're in a cult. You're sitting there looking at each other. It's like the Solar Temple people, you know? Lieutenant Uhuru's brother and a bunch of white people sitting in a room. Okay, time to climb into bed and drink the poison because Halley's Comet is coming by, and that's the spaceship with Space Jesus in it and the Space Buddha, whoever. And he's going to get us, but he's got to be within striking distance. So we got to drink the poison right when the comet flies by. Now, if you walked up to me and said, okay, I got a proposition for you. There's this comet coming, and we need to drink poison right when it's at its closest point to Earth. What do you think? I'd be like, nah. But you go ahead. You know, I'm a believer in personal liberty. If that's where you want to go, you have at it, buddy. It's like trying to stop people from smoking. Well, you know, you want to smoke yourself if you want. Jim Jones was a big old mainstream Democrat politician back in the day. Pretty influential. He used to bus people in, and they'd bus around and vote in all the precincts. He got the mayor elected. They went out and canvassed for him, or canvassed, how you want to say it. He ginned up thousands of votes, got him in power, and then he got himself a slice of the political pie. And then he took all his people down to South America and killed them all. Which, you know, the natural end, like Waco, Texas guy, the Solar Temple, you know. So let's look at empirical evidence here. Are they wackos? Yes, they are. They're completely whacked out. They take all their followers. We're going to lift you out of poverty. With the power of socialist Jesus, we're going to get you all in equality. Now, drink this poison. Okay, evidence as evidenced by, you're a wacko. You didn't lift anybody out of anything. You dropped them in a hole and shoveled dirt on them. You didn't fix anything. You ruined everything. You killed everybody. You're a wrong and bad person, and the weak-minded, the vulnerable. He went into the Fillmore district of San Francisco and found all these poor, vulnerable people who were oppressed by the liberal Democrat system and said, hey, what we need is more Democrats and liberals and more socialism and eventually a collective farming thing and then just a big pot of poison and praise Jesus. And then Brown's back in power, though. This doesn't stick to him. People don't look at that and go like, he was in on the Jim Jones thing. He's got to be good. Let's reelect him. And Harvey Milk, too. He was a disciple, too. He got shot by another Democrat. And it just kills me. See where it leads. See where the road goes. It goes to Jonestown. All these stupid, hippie, socialists, we're going to save the world with utopia and teach the world to sing and buy the world a Coke, and then we're going to put poison in the Coke, and then we're all going to drop fucking dead. This is where it goes. Stop it. Stop re-electing these retards. Just let them go kill themselves while there's a comet going by, and then we'll just have a normal life. God, I'm done, Oh, let's re-elect Jerry Brown. Yep, he's the governor of California. Tip top. Look at his track record. And that's what really chaps my ass.
This is Austin Peterson from the Libertarian Republic. You're listening to the Johnny Rocket Launchpad, the only libertarian rock and roll radio show in the Northwest. Keep supporting the show that has the balls to defend your liberty.
Why do I support the Make Every Vote Count Washington initiative? Simple. Because I want my presidential vote to matter.
Because without it, Washington's electors are already decided.
Because I don't buy into the red state, blue state lie.
Make Every Vote Count Washington will end the winner-take-all system of appointing presidential electors and give representation to voters all over the state. In Washington, we believe every vote should be represented, and we want to make every vote count. Help get the Make Every Vote Count Washington initiative on the ballot. Go to www.makeeveryvotecountwashington.org to learn how you can help.
Are you a small business owner or starting a new business in Washington State or Idaho? From startup to daily business operations, the law offices of P. Steve and Aida can assist you with your legal needs. Strategy for business development, intellectual property, and contracts are just a few of the many services P. Steve and Aida offers. Give them a call at 253-858-5434 and visit their website, aidalaw.com, AITALAW.com.
Are you interested in getting the word out about your business, band, or upcoming event? The Johnny Rocket Launchpad broadcast is the place to share your message. Shoot us an email at johnnyrocketlaunchpad.com to discuss how we can help you boost your business.
Imagine a child going days without a nutritious meal or growing up without a basic education. Imagine a young girl marrying a stranger simply for a home and basic necessities. Now imagine that child being told that someone on the other side of the world cared enough to help. What would that child think? That there is hope, that they are valuable in someone's eyes, and that they matter to someone. You can be that someone. LifeSpring Ministry operates in East Africa, providing education, clean water, food programs, microloans, and more to those who need it most. To donate online and find out more, visit lifespringafrica.com.
This is Robin Kerner from Blue Republican Radio, and you are listening to the Johnny Rocket Launchpad, the only rock and roll libertarian radio show.
Hey ladies, Voice of Reason here on the Launchpad. Love that retro look, but your Liberty curls are lopsided and your victory rolls defeated? Deshawn Coffin, makeup artist and stylist of Coffin Dolls, can bring out the inner pinup in you. Coffin Dolls specializes in true vintage. Her expertise in custom color, foils, and precision cuts will reveal the bombshell within. Deshawn also offers hair and makeup for photo shoots and tutorial pinup workshops. So if you're in the greater Seattle area, contact Deshawn Coffin at facebook.com/Deshawn.coffindolls and mention the Launchpad for $10 off your first service. Coffin Dolls, reviving beauty.
Need custom shirts, hoodies that promote your band, business, organization, or political campaign? Choose Flash Merchandising for all your merchandising needs. Flash uses the highest quality name brand shirts on the market today. Flash has over 20 years experience, silk screening, and an incredible eye for detail that has made him Tacoma's go-to guy for merchandise for nearly a decade. Great and speedy service, quality shirts, and silk screen printing. Flash stands behind his work, quality, and competitive prices every time. Flash also does custom screen patches. Tell them Johnny Rocket sent you for 10% off your order. Get your t-shirts or merchandise in a Flash with Flash Merchandising. Call for a quote at 253-228-3587. Again, get your merchandise in a Flash with Flash Merchandising. 253-228-3587. The Johnny Rocket Launchpad is propelled by the speed of sound. Seattle's state-of-the-art all-purpose audio-video editing and recording complex. Speed of Sound specializes in giving you the highest fidelity sound and beautiful high-definition video. Speed of Sound's vision is to provide you the greatest tools available on the market to help you create the project you've always dreamed of having. For more information, contact Kurt at TommySound.com. Speed of Sound. You can hear the difference.
Johnny Rocket is a libertarian. The views and opinions expressed here on the Johnny Rocket Launchpad are not necessarily the views of Speed of Sound. Tommy doesn't listen to the show, so he really doesn't even know what we say, but if he did, he may not agree with Launchpad Group. Please listen to our show because we drink a lot.
When glass breaks, call Glass Doctor first. We're the experts in auto, home, and business glass replacement. You can depend on us for fast and friendly service, even 24-hour service for emergencies. And you'll always know the price up front before we start. We replace fogged insulated windows and patio doors, storefronts, entry doors and door closures, tabletops, laminated or tempered safety glass. Mobile service, credit cards accepted.
Call the Glass Doctor, we'll fix your pains. Oh yeah!
The Johnny Rocket Launchpad. And now, here's Johnny.
Hey, it's Johnny Rocket here at the Johnny Rocket Launchpad, launching ideas in your direction, the Northwest only rock and roll libertarian radio show. Tonight we celebrate our 50th show and launching ideas with the chairman of the Libertarian Party, Nicholas Sarwark. Did I say it right that time?
Sarwark.
Okay, I'm sorry about that if I keep messing it up.
It's cool.
You can hear us NWCZ Radio Friday 4 to 6 p.m., Saturday from 8 to 10 p.m., and Liberty Talk FM Saturdays and Sundays 4 to 6 p.m. And also check us out at JohnnyRocketLaunchpad.com. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Kurt Nelson.
50 episodes.
My voice, the reason, the beautiful Heather Nixon.
Kurt made me giggle.
And we are having a badass time with the chair here of the Libertarian Party of the National Party. Again, we listened to your speeches on the Southern California speech, Show Up, Be Nice, and Win. I thought it was fantastic. And you're not a fan of the top two election system. Why not?
Because it's terrible. The top two election system is a massive racket to basically eliminate any sort of independent voice from the electoral process and to dumb down the candidates who make it onto the ballot down to the most milquetoast, pro-corporate candidates that are possible. Mm-hmm. And if you look at how it's actually worked in California, it has depressed turnout an incredible amount. Like, people don't show up for elections anymore because there's no point. You know, you get these races where, because of how top two works, two Democrats or two Republicans end up running against each other in the general election. Mm-hmm. So you have an entire old political party that isn't even part of that process anymore.
Right.
It's just terrible and ridiculous. You know, the analogy I used when I wrote a position piece for the Oregon voter guide to try and defeat top two, which I think it went down like 2-1, was you go to a grocery store, right? Mm-hmm. Well, what do I want to drink? I'm sort of old school, like pre-hipster. I want a Snapple. I want a kiwi strawberry Snapple. So you get the kiwi strawberry Snapple. You go home, you drink your Snapple. You feel kind of cool because, you're still into Snapple and no one else is. And
nice.
Then you come, this is the summertime. It's like July. You go back in August and you get like some juice because you like juice. And then you go back in November and you're like, okay, I want my Snapple. And they go, no, it's funny. We only have Coke or Pepsi right now.
Right.
And you say, well, what? I like Snapple. I mean, I'm pro Snapple. I could drink juice. Juice is good too.
Right.
And they go, no, actually it turns out that Coke and Pepsi were the two most popular drinks over the summer.
Right.
So we just stopped stocking everything else. Kind of fuck you. And
this is your choices.
Want Coke or Pepsi?
Right.
That's how top two works.
Right.
You literally have a store where you have tons of options, and then they take all the options away from you and say, enjoy your election. This is for real.
Right.
And it's a fake election. It's a pretend election.
Right.
The top two deserves zero respect, and the people who support it, usually they do it for good reasons. They think that they're doing something good for the people, but it's anti-choice. I can't be anti-choice. Maybe there are people who are okay with that.
What is a wasted vote, in your opinion?
A wasted vote is a vote that you don't get to cast for what you want. A wasted vote is where somebody's woken up and said, look, the old parties have kind of screwed me over for a long time. I'm going to vote Libertarian, and they don't have a candidate on their ballot. That's where you wasted your vote, where you've gone into the ballot box wanting to vote for somebody and you can't.
Right.
And you can't either because the government has put up barriers to prevent the Libertarian Party from being on the ballot to give you a pro-freedom option, or because libertarians have not stepped up to do the work for their fellow libertarians to provide that option for them. And that's what I encourage, everybody to do, is stop those wasted votes. You guys probably have weird water laws up in the Northwest.
We have every kind of weird law here.
Colorado, we had a weird one where you're not supposed to be able to collect rainwater from your roof.
Yeah, that's one here too.
It has to do with Western water rights. And I think Oregon and Washington have the same thing.
We do.
We're doing it anyway here.
East Coast has riparian rights. If you ever went to law school, you wasted a lot of money, but you also know about these things. The way I look at libertarian votes is they're like rain that hits a roof, and that rain is going to hit the roof no matter what. And it's going to go into the gutter, and it's going to come down the downspout. And you can either put a rain barrel underneath that downspout to catch those votes, or you cannot. And then they'll just go off into the yard and they'll evaporate. That's wasted votes.
Right.
So every libertarian candidate is that rain barrel that's catching those precious votes and not letting them hit the ground, and not letting the old parties and the status quo politicians pretend that there's not an angry, growing group of people who just want freedom and don't want to compromise on their freedom and don't want to be told, I have to pick between whether or not I want to let my brother get married to his homosexual partner or I get to carry a gun. They don't want to pick between I get to carry or my brother gets to marry.
Right.
They want both.
And that's
only the Libertarian Party offers them both.
I agree.
You want just freedom to marry? Go Democrat. You want just freedom to carry? Go Republican.
Sure.
You want both? Libertarian's your only option. And we have been since 1971.
Right.
We've never wavered. We've never changed. Thankfully, some of the old parties are starting to come around. But really, why do you want to accept sort of latecomer, imitators? Why not go for the original product?
I'm with you on that. Milton Friedman has said you can have open borders, but you can't continue the welfare state. What is your opinion on immigration?
My opinion is that it is not a valid libertarian argument to suggest that you should create a police state to protect a welfare state. Look, somebody comes into the country, they immigrate, they have already made a decision that they're going to leave behind their roots, the place of their birth. They're going to leave behind the place where they speak the language. They're going to leave behind the place where they have ties and connections. You don't do that to come and sponge off the state. That's just a horseshit argument that
I agree.
Racists and bigots make. I'm not saying that you can't find some example of somebody somewhere who, had an anchor baby and you can point to them. Sure, whatever. The vast majority of people who come to this country to build a better life by working hard and trying to provide for their families. When my great-grandfather came to this country in 1913, Francis Jacques Sarwark got off of a boat with $7 in his pocket. He didn't show up on the shores of this country to sponge off the state.
Right.
He showed up to work hard and to try and make a better life than you could have in Poland. And I don't believe that just because we've got ours that we get to pull up the ladder. I believe that the Libertarian Party, and I personally stand for the words on the Statue of Liberty. Give me your huddled masses. Give me your tempest tossed. Give me the refuse of your shores. We mean that. And we're the only political party left that means that, because the Democrats stopped meaning it because they're in the pocket of the unions, and the Republicans stopped meaning it because well, shit, they don't want to learn how to speak Spanish.
Right
we
on.
mean it because we love our fellow human beings, and as libertarians, we recognize that it's only the blessing of birth that we were born in this country that gives us, what we have right now, and that we shouldn't deny that opportunity to anybody else. And so this idea that somehow because you've created a welfare state, that somehow that justifies creating a police state to protect the welfare state is ludicrous. I like Milton Friedman generally. You follow that train down and read the entire essay, you'll see that he still suggests that you should have immigration. He even says that it would be better for the economy to have illegal immigration at that point, because eventually the immigration, you follow the goofy logic of the people who say, it's going to put a strain on the welfare state. Friedman thought, well, that's a great way to dismantle the welfare state.
You're absolutely right. And well, here's the thing is most economic guests that we've had here, professors, Benjamin Powell, Sean E. Mulholland, all of them have said immigration actually creates jobs. It creates wealth. It actually economically stimulates because people who immigrate to the United States are either highly skilled or have low skills. And they make up the two tiers at the top and bottom, which actually generates wealth for our country in the long run. So I think it's...
all the data, if you look at the actual data, most immigrants, especially undocumented immigrants, actually put more money into the system than they take out. This argument for xenophobia has been around forever and ever and ever. Nick Gillespie from Reason loves to post that old editorial cartoon of like swarthy looking Italians showing up on American shores. Racists have been racist for a long time, and they'll be racist for a long time, and that just is what it is.
I'm quoting you from Press TV.
Okay.
When people say about Hollywood, when it comes to Republicans and Democrats in the U.S. politics, it's nothing but sequels and reboots. Can any of the two major parties adopt a libertarian platform, or will they continue to create bigger government?
I think they're going to continue to create bigger government. There's a glimmer of hope within the Republican Party that they would nominate the junior senator from Kentucky, and he would have a less statist and more freedom-loving position than previous Republican nominees. But I've watched this movie before in 2008 and 2012, and I know how it ends. So I don't think it's likely that they actually embrace any new ideas. I think that what's going to happen is you're going to get, a retread in Jeb Bush.
Right.
And you're going to get a retread on the Democratic side with Hillary Clinton.
Sure.
You're basically kind of buying into the whole Clinton mystique, and she's going to run on the fact that she's a woman, and the powers that be are going to try and make that the argument. Do you like the
Coke or do you like the Pepsi?
Yeah, exactly.
And
no juice.
No juice. We got Coke.
Get juice.
Yeah. Saturday Night Live skit keeps coming through my head.
Is you finally just throw down your hands and say, look, I'm getting juice.
Right.
I don't care how many times you try and shove Coke or Pepsi down my throat. I'm getting juice.
Listen here, pal. I'm getting juice.
Well, here's the thing, though. It seems like they've already decided. The media has already decided it's going to be Hillary and Jeb Bush. The media has already made up their mind who it's going to be.
Which makes it easier for me, right?
Totally.
If it's Hillary and Jeb, then I don't even have to argue with those Rand Paul supporters, right? I don't have to suggest, well, you should really vote Libertarian, not Republican, even if the Republican's a very good Republican. If it's Hillary and Jeb, I can be like, really?
That's a no-brainer now.
Really?
Right.
Like that Saturday Night Live skit.
Right.
Really?
Did you listen to that debate? Really? Okay.
Right. Edmund Burke quoted, "The less regulation from within, the more regulation will come to us from without." Do you agree with that quote?
Probably true. That's probably true.
Right
you gotta kind of police yourself. I mean, the whole idea of libertarianism is the idea that people need to govern themselves.
Right.
The flip side of that is, and sort of the cynical view of government is, if you're suggesting that people aren't able to govern themselves, how did you pick the people who you're going to have govern them?
It doesn't make any sense. I don't get it.
Various quotes that kind of go down that path. Have you found angels to govern men? And, a lot of different politicians have come to the same conclusion that, my personal opinion is that no matter, let's say that, the average human being's a jackass, which I don't believe. I believe people are genuinely
good. Right. Me too.
Let's say they're all jackasses. The people who want to have power over other people, probably more jackasses than the average jackass.
Well,
and so probably the people you want to not have power.
Yeah, and it's kind of scary because we've been watching House of Cards on Netflix, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's just a show. It's just a TV show. And I'm like, you know what? I don't think so. I think there's a lot of truth in that damn show.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's pretty ugly. It's ugly, you know, and
Politics is an ugly business.
And,
It is.
and people glamorize it, but when you really see how it really works, it's ugly. It's really, truly ugly.
Dude, I used to live in Washington, D.C.
Oh,
I'm so
Hollywood
sorry.
drug people. I mean, that's the nature of the beast. The worst part about DC is every party you go to, everyone sort of looks over your shoulder to see if there's somebody more important that they ought to be talking to. And it's pathetic.
Nice.
And it's extra pathetic because everyone gets this inflated sense of self. You know, if you're the assistant to the secretary's assistant to the congressman, you think you're a badass. But you go to a Capitol Hill bar and you're just like one of a million hill rats. That's what they're called.
Oh, okay.
Term of art in DC. Who's working for crappy wages for some government functionary. You all think you're important, and you probably are important if you go back to the congressman's district or whatever. But in DC, you're all just pathetic. And it's sort of that weird, I mean, it's a weird vibe. It's a weird vibe.
Well, it's like, like the founding fathers of the Constitution. A lot of these guys didn't even want the job. They're like, no, I don't want to do that. That's a lot of work, but I'll do it, I guess, because it's an obligation and it's my moral obligation for my country and for my state or whatever. I'm doing this because it's my duty, not because I want to climb the political ladder and play cutthroat politics. I want to do it because I want to make a difference or do the right thing.
From my experience from the last 8 months, they were probably right.
Yeah.
It's a pretty shitty job.
It doesn't make sense to me.
And you shouldn't want to give that job to anyone who wants it.
That's exactly.
Yeah, that's
if you really are hungry for power, why, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, why would you want to give the job to somebody who really wants it? Well, it's kind of like being in the military. I was in the military for 10 years. And to me, when I served in the military, it was an obligation. I did it for the country, my country. Because I felt, what's that?
Which branch were you in?
I was a U.S. Army warrant officer.
Nice.
Yeah. But I did it because I wanted to serve my country, not because it was an obligation. I didn't do it just for the GI Bill or the college fund. I did it because I felt like I could say I did it and I was proud of something.
Wasn't because like you enjoy boot camp or
no?
Like
no one wants to do that shit. Nobody wants to put their life on the line. Nobody wants to go to shitty wars. Nobody wants to, get paid $400 a week.
But somebody invades this country, I'll sign up and pick up a gun quicker than anybody else.
Right, and that was my moral obligation. But at the time, I felt it was like an obligation. But politicians should have that look at it. And that's why I think getting a guy who doesn't really know about politics will probably be the best politician or the best candidate.
Right. Because they're not the deals you got to make to get ahead. I mean, look at the senator from Kentucky. Dude went out and actively campaigned for Mitch McConnell against libertarians. Actively campaigned for Mitch McConnell, who just came out and said, oh, yeah, that debt ceiling increase, we're just going to kind of rubber stamp that shit.
Sure.
No fight over it, whatever. There's your fiscal conservatism. And Rand Paul got him elected. So.
Sure. No, I'm with you.
And his supporters will tell me, well, that's the deal he's got to make. And there's everybody's got to find their own limit for how much devil dealing you're willing to abide by. And I got a different limit than some people. And that's okay.
Right.
And like I said before, that doesn't mean that I don't want your support for libertarian candidates. It doesn't mean that I'm going to say you're a bad person for making a different choice than me.
Right.
But we do have different limits.
Right. Speaking of limits, everybody has a different ideal of government, unlimited government, especially in the Libertarian Party. How limited, in your opinion, should the government be?
I think we should start limiting government until we have a bad experience.
Just keep going and like, whoop, okay, right there.
So something breaks. Let's find out. Let's find out how limited we can go.
Sure.
That's actually a great answer.
Find out where the threshold
is. The Libertarian Party sort of squared this circle a long time ago, and I think people forget about it. Do you guys know what the Dallas Accord is? So the Dallas Accord was hammered out in, I believe, 1980 in Dallas, hence the name. Basically, the deal that was made between the anarchists and the minarchists in the Libertarian Party. So you got these people over here that say, we don't want any state ever, fuck the state. And you got these people over here who say, well, we want government that's constrained within its constitutional limits and lets people do most things, but has a couple things that it still does that are government thingies.
Right.
And what they did was they came together and they said, look, we're going to have all the official party communications talk about things like in the possible. They're going to talk about it in the possible. So if you ever read the Libertarian Party platform closely, you'll note that all the language says stuff like where governments exist, comma, they should do X, Y, and Z.
It doesn't say government has to exist.
We never, ever, ever say that government has to exist.
Interesting.
We say that if a government exists, that the legitimate functions are X, Y, and Z. But we never require the existence of government. That was the Dallas Accord. The minarchists are never going to say explicitly, you have to have government to do X. And then the anarchists are going to stay on board the freedom train until they're stopped.
Interesting. I think that's a very good analogy. I like that. Keep taking government away until finally we break something. Something bad happens.
And that's the deal. You know, the analogy for the Dallas Accord is that we're on the freedom train, right? And the minarchists are going to get off the freedom train at the stop where they have really small government. And the anarchists can stay on the train for, till it crashes into a wall. Or until it arrives at utopia, depending on which side of that debate you're on.
Right. What is your thoughts on libertarian purism? Is it an all or nothing approach, or should we move the needle towards liberty in incremental steps?
Ooh, wonder if I have enough whiskey in my jar. This one's a deep one.
It is. But I'm figuring I'm going to the mouthpiece of the Libertarian Party, so I can ask you this stuff. You got it.
Purism versus incremental steps. So this is the deal, and this is how I try and bridge that divide. My opinion is that you have to be a hardcore libertarian in order to compromise. That unless you know where your philosophical endpoint is, unless you have your North Star of what you view as the perfect libertarian society, you can't properly evaluate your opportunities to compromise. So I think that you need to have both. You need to have the purism in order to have the incrementalism. And the best real-world example I can tell you is Amendment 64 in Colorado. When that came out, and it was bankrolled by people who maybe don't give a shit about freedom, but really want to have marijuana be legal. So they came out with an amendment that they had pulled and tested, and they knew was likely to be able to succeed. And it added 15% excise tax on marijuana sales. But it made personal cultivation legal. It eliminated all criminal penalties for possession up to like an ounce or 2 ounces. I forget which. It allowed home grow of up to 6 plants, of which 3 could be in flower. Like it was a comprehensive amendment. So Libertarian Party of Colorado Executive Committee hosts the guy, Brian Vicente, who if you're in the movement, that's a name you know, who showed up and said, we want your support on this. And we voted and we supported Amendment 64. And to my knowledge, we were the only political party in the state of Colorado. There may have been some local county parties from the old parties that had supported it. But for statewide political parties, the Libertarian Party is the only political party that was on board with Amendment 64. And after we came out in support, some people came out and said, look, this allows for a big excise tax, and the Libertarian Party shouldn't support any increased taxation, and this is terrible, and you guys should rescind your support. And I drew a line in the sand, and I said, look, if the choice is between not throwing people into cages for either growing or possessing a substance and charging higher taxes, I'm going to pick not throwing people in cages. And that's a deal that I'll make. And I fought tooth and nail to keep us on board with that amendment. And we did stay on board with that amendment, and it passed. And you can buy weed in Colorado, and it's okay. And you can grow weed in I've grown weed in Colorado. In case there are any AUSAs who want to try and figure out how to prosecute me for violating a federal law a couple years ago, good luck, motherfuckers.
Fantastic.
Very cool. You know what?
Never try and prosecute a criminal defense attorney.
It's not going to happen.
Let's do this.
I think you could be a pure, in my opinion.
But you have to be a purist to make that compromise.
But
you have to know where you're trying to get to make a good evaluation of whether or not the compromise moves you in that direction.
Like an activist can be a pure libertarian, but I feel like the politician still has to work his way and be incremental.
But he he needs to know, he needs to have purity in his heart to know what increments go in the right way.
Absolutely. As long as
you have to be a radical. I have a freaking silver round somewhere around my desk with Murray Rothbard's head on it.
Nice.
You have to be a badass radical libertarian in order to know how to make deals. That's
right on.
Like, the opinion is you got to have both. Can't have one or the other.
Right on.
You can't just be compromising for no damn reason, and you can't just be crazy radical for no damn reason.
I'm with you. Anyways, this is Johnny Rocket here at the Johnny Rocket Launchpad, launching ideas in your direction. The Northwest's only rock and roll libertarian radio show. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Curtin Nelson.
Yes, sir.
Voice of Reason, Heather Nixon.
Hello.
And our very special guest, Nicholas Sarwark. He is the chairman of the Libertarian National Party, and we're going to have rocket fire with him. We have our band of the week, and we have a woman's place. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Women have come a long way. We're strong, liberated, independent, no longer held down by men.
Heather, give me a beer.
A woman's place. Know it. Kaylee Cuoco, actress and star of The Big Bang Theory and 8 Simple Rules, recently did a Red Book magazine article. During the interview, she was asked whether she considered herself a feminist. The actress replied, "Is it bad if I say no? It isn't really something I think about," she continued. "I was never that feminist girl demanding equality, but maybe that's because I never really had to face inequality." She also went on to say, "I cook for my husband Ryan 5 nights a week. It makes me feel like a housewife. I love that. I know it sounds old-fashioned, but I like the idea of women taking care of their men. I'm so in control of my work that I like coming home and serving him. My mom was like that, so I think it kind of rubbed off." What happened next was a barrage of Twitter attacks, social media attacks. How dare she? How does she not pay homage to the women who paved the way? Well, she did in a way, but she said it's a non-factor. And isn't that what the feminists who work so hard for equality should be proud of? That the women of today, they don't face it. They don't grow up in a world of equality. They don't feel as if they're discriminated against. And that should be celebrated. Why is she being attacked for it? It's a non-factor in her life because she is equal now. So in response to the attacks on social media, she said, "Some people have taken offense to my comments regarding feminism. If you are in the biz, you are well aware how words can be taken out of context. I am completely blessed and grateful that strong women have paved the way for my success along with many others. I apologize if anyone was offended. Anyone that truly knows me knows my heart and knows what I meant." I think it's horrible that she felt the need to apologize, that she enjoys cooking for her husband, that she likes to be a housewife, that because she is so empowered and makes millions of dollars every episode that the show airs, that she can do exactly what she wants. And that is what feminism and equality should be about. And so all you women who gave her any guff can fucking kiss my motherfucking ass. And that's a woman's place. Know it.
This is Tom Fletcher, the only common sense conservative media voice in British Columbia, and you're listening to the Johnny Rocket Launchpad. Good choice.
Call the Glass Doctor, we'll fix your pain. We can handle all of your insurance claims. We're the quickest cure whenever your glass breaks. Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call us 7 days a week and we'll be there. Your home, car, or business, or anywhere. Windows, mirrors, tabletops, will take good care of you. Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we'll fix your pains. Oh yeah.
Need custom shirts, hoodies that promote your band, business, organization, or political campaign? Choose Flash Merchandising for all your merchandising needs. Flash uses the highest quality name brand shirts on the market today. Flash has over 20 years experience, silk screening, and an incredible eye for detail that has made him Tacoma's go-to guy for merchandise for nearly a decade. Great and speedy service, quality shirts, and silk screen printing. Flash stands behind his work, quality, and competitive prices every time. Flash also does custom screen patches. Tell them Johnny Rocket sent you for 10% off your order. Get your t-shirts or merchandise in a Flash with Flash Merchandising. Call for a quote at 253-228-3587. Again, get your merchandise in a Flash with Flash Merchandising. 253-228-3587.
Are you a small business owner or starting a new business in Washington State or Idaho? From startup to daily business operations, the law offices of P. Stephen Aida can assist you with your legal needs. Strategy for business development, intellectual property, and contracts are just a few of the many services P. Stephen Aida offers. Give them a call at 253-858-5434 and visit their website, aidalaw.com, AITALAW.com.
The Johnny Rocket Launchpad is propelled by the speed of sound. Seattle's state-of-the-art all-purpose audio-video editing and recording complex. Speed of Sound specializes in giving you the highest fidelity sound and beautiful high-definition video. Speed of Sound's vision is to provide you the greatest tools available on the market to help you create the project you've always dreamed of having. For more information, contact Kurt at TommySound.com. Speed of Sound. You can hear the difference.
Johnny Rocket is a libertarian. The views and opinions expressed here on the Johnny Rocket Launchpad are not necessarily the views of Speed of Sound. Tommy doesn't listen to the show, so he really doesn't even know what we say, but if he did, he may not agree with Launchpad Group. Please listen to our show because we drink a lot.
Hey ladies, voice of reason here on the Launchpad. Love that retro look, but your Liberty curls are lopsided and your victory rolls defeated? Deshawn Coffin, makeup artist and stylist of Coffin Dolls, can bring out the inner pinup in you. Coffin Dolls specializes in true vintage. Her expertise in custom color, foils, and precision cuts will reveal the bombshell within. Deshawn also offers hair and makeup for photo shoots and tutorial pinup workshops. So if you're in the greater Seattle area, contact Deshawn Coffin at facebook.com/Deshawn.coffindolls and mention the Launchpad for $10 off your first service. Coffin Dolls, reviving beauty.
Are you interested in getting the word out about your business, band, or upcoming event? The Johnny Rocket Launchpad broadcast is the place to share your message. Shoot us an email at johnnyrocketlaunchpad.com to discuss how we can help you boost your business. The Johnny Rocket Launchpad. And now, here's Johnny.
Hey, it's Johnny Rocket here at the Johnny Rocket Launchpad, launching ideas in your direction. A Northwest only rock and roll libertarian radio show. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Kurt Nelson.
Bam!
Voice of reason, the beautiful Heather Nixon.
I should go boom.
Boom!
Sure.
Bam!
There it is. We'll edit that. That's going to be beautiful right there.
Yeah, we'll just add some explosions right there. Right now. All right, that's cool.
Okay,
You'll hear it later. And we're here with the chair of the National Libertarian Party, Nicholas Sarwark.
Come on.
Bam! Yeah, you
Well
got
done.
it.
Well done.
And I think I said your name right that time, too.
You did.
All right.
Badass.
So basically what
I've
we
had
do...
more practice than you have.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. We have what we do here, the third segment.
It's my favorite.
It's his favorite.
It's my favorite.
It's called the Rocket Fire. Basically, what we're going to do is ask you 10 questions, and you ready to play Rocket Fire?
All right, go ahead.
Rocket Fire! First question. Do people have the right to be stupid?
Yes, absolutely. You know, that you don't need fundamental freedoms. You don't need protection for the right to do what the government thinks you ought to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
No one needs a First Amendment to say, hey, President Obama is awesome, and so is the Republican Congress. Woohoo! You need the protection of the Constitution, and you need personal freedoms in order to do stupid shit.
Right.
That's why freedoms exist. You know, we had this talk in California. There are some people who want to have home births where they're just having their kid by themselves in their house. And while that may not be a great medical decision,
right,
you have the right to make bad decisions for yourself.
Indeed.
And so that's what libertarianism is all about,
right,
is the freedom to be stupid.
Bam! Question 2. Do rights come from God or do rights come from humanity?
I think rights are natural. I'm a big natural rights guy. Like, I think that there are rights that you just have by virtue of being a human being. At the same time, I'm not a huge God guy. So I don't think that, you know, you need to prove that there's a God in order to prove that I got rights.
Sure.
I think that, you know, at the end of the day, kind of rights come from humanity in so much as, again, unless you can get government to get the hell out of your way to let you have your rights, then it's hard to have them. So you have to have rights come from humanity to the extent that they don't get in your way. way. But I think that, we have sort of a fundamental right to be who we are. We have a right to defend ourselves against other people. Those rights are natural, and they don't need you to find some sort of external force to justify them. You just need to make sure that the government doesn't get in your way of exercising them.
Right on. Question 3, is there ever a good reason to go to war? How do we support our allies without entanglements?
If people attack us, that's a pretty good reason to go to war. It's kind of weird. I liken it to the criminal justice and the death penalty. If you bust into my house in Phoenix tonight, which I don't recommend, I will shoot you and implement a death penalty of sorts at that point. However, if I lock you up in my bathroom and you're not a threat to anybody, I don't get to kill you later. It's the same thing with going to war. If you're creating an actual threat to the United States, or if you're invading our country, I think we should be able to hit back as hard as we want and, destroy you. But at the same time, we don't want to extend that beyond an actual threat to our life, or a threat to our country.
Sure.
We don't want to just go and help out our allies by attacking other people willy-nilly.
Okay, question 4. What do you think of anarcho-capitalism?
I think it's a really cool long word and probably should be in German. Anarcho-capitalism is a cool way to say, basically that we believe that freedom of property is the biggest deal in the whole wide world. And, kind of once you got property, you've got everything. I'm not sure it's a complete philosophical system, but a lot of people seem to like it.
Okay.
The deal with anarcho-capitalism is, you have to recognize that there are other people in the world, and you can't just say, well, property. Anytime you think that one word is the answer to everything, you're probably wrong. So, while I want anarcho-capitalists in the movement and I want them to get on board with the Libertarian Party as the closest thing that they have as a political expression of what they believe,
right?
I'm not sure they have all the right answers.
Very cool. Question 5. Where do you stand in regards to intellectual property rights? For example, has Disney overstepped its rights?
Well, Disney's overstepped. I mean, shit. They own a number of legislators and they kind of use what they've got. However, intellectual property rights is one of the ones that I'm sort of torn on. I believe, I've written stuff and I've created things that are sort of thought products, and I'd like to have those protected. But at the same time, they're not the same thing as having a car or a house, where you can actually put your hands on it and whatever.
Sure.
So I understand the arguments on both sides. I'm not sure I have a stance on intellectual property rights other than, whatever we end up doing with them should recognize the rights of the people to have some benefit. And the way copyright and patent was originally developed was this idea that you knew that government was giving people extra rights, but they were only going to do it for a limited time because they knew they were giving people extra rights. And I think we need to get back to that ideal where we recognize that there's a limit to what you can get in copyright or patent.
Right on. Question 6. Does pork barrel legislation and earmarks go against the original intent of the Constitution?
I don't know, man. I mean, original intent of the Constitution involved keeping people slaves. So I'm not sure original intent is a gold standard. Pork barrel politics, there's two arguments about this, right? The argument is, hey, I elected you to be in part of my district, so you better bring some shit back to my district or I'm not going to reelect you.
Right.
But at the same time, the idea that you want to not have the government working just for one group or one district or whatever, it's kind of like running a business. You want to make a profit, but you also want to keep your employees paid. And there's a tension there. And I think that's how pork barrel politics works, is that you want to do good things for your district, but if you're actually focused on libertarian ideals, you have to put your own limits on yourself.
Right on. Why is having the normal person running for office better than a career politician? I know we covered this earlier. Unintentionally, we did.
The real reason that you want to have a normal person instead of a career politician running for office is if you think that people need to be governed by people that are better than them, then it seems like it would be pretty obvious that the people who want to have power over other people are probably the worst possible people to govern other people.
Right.
If you want to beat up other people, you're probably the worst person to hand the nightstick to. And so that's the issue, is that an amateur politician may not be as effective in playing the political dance in Washington or whatever your state capital is, ideas, but they are probably going to be a lot more likely to be aligned with what the average citizen needs. You know, they're probably going to be a lot more aligned with what liberty needs. And so that's the reason to have the average person to be a politician instead of a career politician.
8. Indians have been exploited in history. The government, we have made contracts with tribes. Should we always honor those contracts?
You know, it would be a nice change of pace. The government has kind of fucked over the Indians forever.
Yeah, since ever.
Yeah, since ever. And it's sad, you know. But at the same time, it's an object lesson for those of us who are, you know, tempted to believe in government nowadays. That, you know, just look at what happens when you deal with gun control. You know, just let us have your guns and we'll take care of you. Like that's what we told the Indians, and that was some bullshit.
History always repeats itself.
You know, I think that we should be ashamed of what our government has done to the Indian tribes. The mouthpiece of we're going to give you sovereign rights, but the actuality of we're going to take away your rights. And so I think that we should look at things skeptically with that. And I think that we should try and do our best to make it up to the Indians and actually, you know, try and abide by our agreements, even though it's too little too late.
What is your opinion on Che Guevara? He didn't respect human rights. And why is he so fucking popular?
He's fucking popular because he, you know, has some ideas. That's the thing is if you have legitimate, realistic, in-your-face ideals, people will back you, you know, and yeah, maybe you killed a couple people here and there, but people will still back you because that is so lacking in their life politically that there's somebody who's really willing to like go all out for what they believe in. So the reason Che's so popular is that he's willing to go all out. The reason he shouldn't be so popular is he was willing to go all out in like, you know, executing people.
And banning books and music and whatever the fuck you wanted to do.
He went all out in a lot of ways that you probably shouldn't. But that's why he's so popular. And so as libertarians, what we have to do is kind of go all out without killing anyone.
Good answer. Good answer.
All right. And what do you think of public sector unions? The last question.
Public sector unions. This is a hard one, right? Like this was a platform question in Columbus in 2014. You know, I don't think that you should limit the collective bargaining rights of anybody by virtue of who they work for. You know, if you have the bad luck to actually work for a government, you should still be allowed to negotiate for your salary and for your benefits and stuff. You shouldn't take that right away from somebody just because of who they work for.
Okay.
You know, like I said earlier in the show, I'm all about limiting the amount of things government does, period. But I don't think you should lose rights just because you work for the government. I have worked for the government. I worked for the government for 5 years directly as a public defender. I worked as a contractor for the military before that. I just can't get on board with you lose your rights because of who you work for.
Right on rocket fire. Yeah. Woo.
Is that fast enough? I think I was
you did great, man. Yeah,
you
were right at a minute, man.
Well done, man. Yeah, well done.
Right on. Went to Reason.com, Reason Magazine, with awesome publication. And you had a thing regarding the 7 reasons to vote for the Libertarian Party. So maybe I could talk about each point and you can kind of expand on each one of these.
Go ahead.
Number 1, the Libertarian Party supports all of your freedoms all of the time.
Yeah. So this is actually a slogan I stole from Aaron Russo, who was a candidate for the presidential nomination back in I want to say it was 2008.
Okay.
I think it was 2008. I got to go back and look that up. I don't remember. But whenever he was a candidate, that was his slogan. All of your freedoms all the time. It's a beautiful slogan because it sort of encapsulates what libertarianism gives people that they don't get in the old parties. In the old parties, you have to decide what's a priority for you. Is it more important that your cousin can gay marry his partner? Or is it more important that you get to carry a gun when you go out at night? Which of those is more important to you? Because the old parties are going to let you have one or the other.
Right. Yeah.
And the idea of all your freedoms all the time says, no, that's not a choice I'm willing to make.
Right.
I'm going to be able to have my cousin gay marry his partner, and I'm going to have a gun when I go out at night.
Right.
And fuck you if you think otherwise. That's why I wanted to revive that phrase, because, while Aaron Russo may no longer be with us, there's no reason for his idea to not be with us.
Right on. The Libertarian Party is consistent and principled. That was your second one.
Was it?
Yeah.
I'm trying to look this shit up.
Yeah.
Did I really say that shit?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Wow, that's wild. No, we are consistent and principled. The thing about it is, it's easy for us. We don't have any opportunity to be inconsistent or unprincipled.
Mm-hmm.
No one's lining up to give us a big pile of cash to sell out.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, we are consistent and principled. We support individual freedoms, period, full stop. There's no extra.
Mm-hmm.
We don't give a shit whether or not, you're a powerful person or you're, Joe Nobody asking us for stuff.
I like Joe Nobody.
Is what you're asking us for, does that support liberty and freedom?
Right.
Is that what it's about? Then we're for it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not, then we're not for it. That's it.
Right on.
It's democratic in that way. We're not interested in where you're coming from other than, do you support freedom or do you not? That's our big question.
Bam. And I think libertarians are principled, and I think that's one of the coolest things. Sometimes maybe a little too much in regards to, fuck you, man, your status. Voting for the old party politics tells them that you want to keep government big.
Well, that's the thing is, so here's the deal. There's a lot of issues with how people vote and what they're actually signaling. If you vote for a Democrat or Republican, you can think in your own head, hey, man, I'm voting for Republican because I hate the Democrats more, and I really like Republicans just a little bit less than the Democrats. I'm just trying to show, I like these guys better than those guys, but I hate them both. That's a tricky message to send. But whenever you vote for Democrats or Republicans, what you're telling them is, I want big government. I want to have you guys keep expanding government. Are you going to expand government this way or that way? It's a very mild sort of preference that you're expressing.
Right.
Whereas if you vote Libertarian, you're saying, I don't want government to be big at all, ever.
Right on, man.
So no.
Right on.
And no.
But if you vote Democrat or Republican, what you're saying is, yeah, I want government to be big, but only in this direction, not that direction.
Whatever suits my agenda. It's all selfishness. Voting Libertarian is the only clear message you can send. This is your word.
Well, this is the argument I make to all the anarcho-capitalists, to go back to a previous question. I talk to a lot of anarchists who say, look, if I vote for a politician in an election, I'm somehow consenting to the system and I'm becoming part of the system and I'm participating in the subjugation of the people and blah, 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 fucking blah.
Mm-hmm.
And what I try and tell them is, look, if you don't vote, you look exactly the same to an old party politician as some jackass who just wants to play Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
You're the same dude.
Right.
You're just a different dude, but you're the same dude.
I'm with you.
If you vote Libertarian, they know for fucking sure that you want more freedom. And you took the time out of your day to go in and say, I want more fucking freedom.
Right on.
And you're not just a lazy ass who wanted to play Xbox and didn't feel like voting this week.
I like those lazy assholes, though. Some of them are pretty funny.
Lazy assholes are awesome. But don't tell me as an anarchist that somehow you have some distinction from being a lazy asshole. Because from the perspective of the old party politicians, they can't tell the difference.
Right. No, I'm with you.
Lazy asshole. Principled anarchist, looks about the same to me.
5, voting Libertarian forces old parties to take libertarian positions. I like that. That's one of my favorites out of those.
It's pretty much like, we're going to support gay marriage. You can either support gay marriage or you can lose your votes to us. They do it.
Right.
We're going to support marijuana legalization. You can support that or you can lose your votes to us. They do it.
Right. I think that's beautiful.
So it's tough for me as chair of the party because I'm like, well, shit, they're stealing my votes. But it's good for you as a libertarian because it's like, well, shit, they're doing the thing you want them to do.
Right.
I'm willing to take that burden. It's okay.
6, because the old parties don't want you to.
Yeah, seriously, because fuck them.
There you go.
That was awesome.
The more times people tell me don't do that thing, that's a really bad thing. You shouldn't do that thing. There's a part of me that's like, fuck you, I'm doing that thing.
Totally. Like,
fuck you.
Wait a minute. Why am I not supposed to do it? That kind of sounds fun, actually.
Oh, so libertarian? Well, suck my balls.
Suck my balls.
Suck my balls, motherfucker!
Hey, that cost extra.
7, voting libertarians.
Pay me the invoice for sucking my balls. Then I'm voting libertarian. Yeah,
It's capitalism.
There might be a law there.
Yeah, keep telling me not to.
7, voting libertarian helps your favorite libertarian-leaning old party politician. I don't know who you're talking about, though.
This is weird, right? Because this is a weird place where I shouldn't even be as a politician, right?
Okay.
But
America.
you take your Justin Amash, your Ron Wyden, your Tom Massey, your Rand Paul, your people in the old parties who you feel are libertarian enough.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you bust out of the old parties and you vote actual libertarian, big fucking L, libertarian, you give your Rand Pauls and your Justin Amashes and your Thomas Masseys and your Ron Wydens, you give them the ammunition to go back to their caucus and tell their Mitch McConnells or their Nancy Pelosi's or whoever the fuck they have to talk to. Like, tell them, look, this is where my votes are going. Let me support some more freedom so I don't lose any more goddamn vote.
Right.
Be better by taking the votes away from them. It's a weird, like, it's a mind fuck, but embrace it.
Right on.
So do you have plans of ever running for office?
Not anytime soon.
Maybe later?
I get to beg off because I'm chair, right?
Nice.
Yeah.
No, it's
privilege.
Serious. Like, I have to be neutral. Like, I support whoever the party nominates in 2016.
Right
Not
on.
me.
But it's not me.
I don't have to worry about that. I kind of wish I had that position. That's
Well,
awesome.
Some point I might do it, but, not now.
Right on. Anyway, so we want to thank you very much for coming on this show.
Seriously.
It means a lot to us. And thank you very much for being the guest of honor for our 50th Over the Hill episode.
I'm sorry to get you that Spencer's gift thing because I really wanted.
The show is 50 years old. It's 50 episodes.
You
And
want
actually,
one of those little canes with the mirror?
with the mirror. But I put the mirror at the
dresses or
bottom.
whatever.
At the bottom. So you can look up the dresses, right? The
Whatever
dirty
you
old man
need.
canes.
I'm ready to help you. I'm ready to help you.
That's too kind. You are too kind.
You are very kind.
Well, nice.
Hey, what message would you give to the candidates running here in Washington State?
I mean, never give up, never surrender.
Right on.
Wasn't that a movie? Wasn't that a movie? Never
It
give
might be.
up.
It might be a Rocky thing.
No, never give up, never surrender.
That was
It's
Jean-Claude.
It's Galaxy Quest.
Is it Galaxy Quest?
It is. It is Galaxy Quest.
Never
Here's
give
the thing.
up,
Never surrender.
No matter what the fuck movie it comes from, don't fucking give up.
Good
or
point. Good
surrender.
point.
Like, literally, shove the fucking stick back in their eye. Like,
Right on.
Gouge their eyeballs out.
I'm not the important. That's the advice I give, right? Like, I'm not the important person.
As
The
long as
per-
you're being nice when you
Doesn't
do it,
matter
right?
what I think. Just go out there and give them fucking hell.
That's
And
good
if you have
advice.
a problem with giving them fucking hell, then you tell me, and I'll give them fucking hell for you.
Right on. Right
That's
on.
good advice.
I love your advice. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
we got your back.
We got your back. And anyway, so do you have any websites?
Motherfucker, when I need to be.
Right on.
Nothing wrong with that. What websites do you have? You have obviously the www.lp.org.
That's a big one.
Big one.
Libertarian Party.
Yeah. But you have a chair.sarwark.org. SARWARK.
I have the Facebook site for like Sarwark for LNC chair.
That's what we do here too.
I'm not trying to be nice.
We piss people off on this show all the time. So don't, whatever.
Okay.
No, there's no
Dude,
such thing as
don't
being
give
too
up.
edgy on this show, man.
So those are the big ones.
Right on.
Okay.
Well, hey, anyway, so we want to thank you very much for being here on the Johnny Rocket
Seriously.
Launchpad.
Seriously.
Yeah!
Thanks for having me.
Wow, it was a great honor. We had the actual chair of the Libertarian National Party
here on this show.
Bam.
Nicholas Sarwark.
Awesome.
And I got your name correct. Go ahead, Heather.
We really look forward to seeing you in Vancouver at the Washington State Libertarian Convention,
Yes.
May
I'm excited.
29th.
I'm going to try and fly to the right Vancouver.
That'd be good.
Not Canada.
Because
Right.
otherwise it's a hell of a drive.
Yeah, it could be
After
a
that.
bitch. I'm not sure they'll let me across borders.
It's like,
Borders are a bitch.
it's about 4-hour drive. I
We
think.
have some allies in Canada. We do.
Billy
Yeah. Yeah.
and
But
Marty.
yeah, that's going to be late May, right?
Yeah.
Looking
Yeah,
forward
I'm
to it,
psyched.
man.
I'm psyched. It's going to be badass. Like,
I'll drink whiskey with you. I don't drink whiskey normally, but I'll drink it with you, brother.
No, I vote no.
you
Heather's
don't
like,
have to. I'm not making anybody do anything.
no.
Heather's
I-
going to be drunk herself, so she's not going
You
to
wanna
care.
smoke pot instead? You can do that
No.
too.
You know, I don't. You know, I'm a libertarian, but I don't smoke pot.
Isn't
that weird?
The way I look at it is whatever intoxicant makes you happy. You know,
I'm just
I'm either trying to tell you that you should do it or that you shouldn't do it.
I'm a
Like,
booze hound, my friend. I'm a booze hound.
Well, I'll drink with you all night.
Oh, hell yeah.
Fantastic.
Hey, we can't wait to see you and actually
wanna take
meet
some
you in
bets
person.
About like who goes under the table.
I'll put my money on Johnny, my friend. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I haven't met you yet, but my money's on Johnny.
You'd be better off.
Most people just don't understand. I have 10 years of military drinking under my belt.
Though, I suspect
I'm
that,
just gonna
Nick
tell
has
you.
got some wings, man.
Oh, yeah. Right on.
You want to do a fun run on this?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, we can do it. We
results.
can do it. We can do it.
You better be ready.
I'll train my liver now.
Right.
You guys better both get your speeches in first before we start doing this.
I'll do it after.
There you go.
Right on. Hey, thank you very much, Nicholas Sarwark.
Seriously.
Thank you very much. It's an honor. Hey, we're gonna push this show, and thank you very much for coming on here and talking.
Send me a link and stuff, and I'll push out
Rock,
some more.
rock and roll. Thank you very much, and we will do that. And anyways, thank you guys very much.
Yep.
This is Johnny Rocket Launchpad, launching ideas in your direction, the Northwest only rock and roll libertarian radio show.
Hey, Kurt Nelson here with the Johnny Rocket Launchpad, and it's time for the Band of the Week. Up this week, we've got Ruby D and the Snake Handlers. Ruby D and the Snake Handlers are a high-octane Americana roots and rockabilly four-piece combo that plays twang the way it was meant to be heard, with attitude. Their music encompasses Texas honky-tonk, Bakersfield twang, Memphis rockabilly, Western swing, and good old-fashioned rock and roll. Their latest release, Rockabilly Playground, came out in May of 2013 on both CD and vinyl. It's a roots and rockabilly album for the whole family.
Just not enough for you. I won't fuss and I won't holler. I got a mind to see what's doing for me. I won't fuss and I won't holler. All I wanna know is who is she. I'm not after what she's after. I'm not after what she's after. I'm not after what she's after. All I wanna know is who is she?
This is Austin Peterson from the Libertarian Republic, and you're listening to the Johnny Rocket Launchpad, always launching ideas in your direction.
Are you a small business owner or starting a new business in Washington State or Idaho? From startup to daily business operations, the law offices of P. Stephen Aida can assist you with your legal needs. Strategy for business development, intellectual property, and contracts are just a few of the many services P. Stephen Aida offers. Give them a call at 253-858-5434 and visit their website, aidalaw.com, AITALAW.com.
Are you interested in getting the word out about your business, band, or upcoming event? The Johnny Rocket Launchpad broadcast is the place to share your message. Shoot us an email at johnnyrocketlaunchpad.com to discuss how we can help you boost your business.
Imagine a child going days without a nutritious meal or growing up without a basic education. Imagine a young girl marrying a stranger simply for a home and basic necessities. Now imagine that child being told that someone on the other side of the world cared enough to help. What would that child think? That there is hope, that they are valuable in someone's eyes, and that they matter to someone. You can be that someone. Life Spring Ministry operates in East Africa, providing education, clean water, food programs, microloans, and more to those who need it most. To donate online and find out more, visit lifespringafrica.com. Hey ladies, voice of reason here on the Launchpad. Love that retro look, but your Liberty curls are lopsided and your victory rolls defeated? Deshawn Coffin, makeup artist and stylist of Coffin Dolls, can bring out the inner pinup in you. Coffin Dolls specializes in true vintage. Her expertise in custom color, foils, and precision cuts will reveal the bombshell within. Deshawn also offers hair and makeup for photo shoots and tutorial pinup workshops. So if you're in the greater Seattle area, contact Deshawn Coffin at facebook.com/deshawn.coffindolls and mention the Launchpad for $10 off your first service. Coffin Dolls, reviving beauty.
Need custom shirts, hoodies that promote your band, business, organization, or political campaign? Choose Flash Merchandising for all your merchandising needs. Flash uses the highest quality name brand shirts on the market today. Flash has over 20 years experience, silk screening, and an incredible eye for detail that has made him Tacoma's go-to guy for merchandise for nearly a decade. Great and speedy service, quality shirts, and silk screen printing. Flash stands behind his work, quality, and competitive prices every time. Flash also does custom screen patches. Tell them Johnny Rocket sent you for 10% off your order. Get your t-shirts or merchandise in a Flash with Flash Merchandising. Call for a quote at 253-228-3587. Again, get your merchandise in a Flash with Flash Merchandising. 253-228-3587. The Johnny Rocket Launchpad is propelled by the speed of sound. Seattle's state-of-the-art all-purpose audio, video editing, and recording complex. Speed of Sound specializes in giving you the highest fidelity sound and beautiful high-definition video. Speed of Sound's vision is to provide you the greatest tools available on the market to help you create the project you've always dreamed of having. For more information, contact Kurt at TommySound.com. Speed of Sound. You can hear the difference.
Johnny Rocket is a libertarian. The views and opinions expressed here on the Johnny Rocket Launchpad are not necessarily the views of Speed of Sound. Tommy doesn't listen to the show, so he really doesn't even know what we say, but if he did, he may not agree with Launchpad Group. Please listen to our show because we drink a lot.
When glass breaks, call Glass Doctor first. We're the experts in auto, home, and business glass replacement. You can depend on us for fast and friendly service, even 24-hour service for emergencies. And you'll always know the price up front before we start. We replace fogged insulated windows and patio doors, storefronts, entry doors and door closures, tabletops, laminated or tempered safety glass. Mobile service, credit cards accepted.
Call the Glass Doctor, we'll fix your pains. Oh
The Johnny Rocket Launchpad. And now, here's
Hey, it's Johnny Rocket here at the Johnny Rocket Launchpad, launching ideas in your direction, the Northwest's only rock and roll libertarian radio show. I am here with my co-host, Mr. Kurt Nelson.
Fucking A, baby.
Voice of Reason, Heather Nixon.
Hello.
And we are celebrating our 50th anniversary episode. Hey! Go team. Go team. Go blue. You're my boy, Blue. You're my boy, Blue. All right.
Go Blue Republican.
Yeah, very cool. You know what? It was really cool to have the actual chair, the man, the chair of the National Libertarian Party, Nicholas Sarwark. I just want to make sure I got
dude too, man.
Yeah, very cool.
Dude.
Very
knowledgeable
cool.
and
knowledgeable,
witty, and
yeah. And what was really cool is like we were talking offline and we were discussing the booze offline.
Right.
That guy
the guy knows his shit.
The guy knows his alcohol.
He knows a lot about whiskey.
He does. He enjoys
and vodka.
And vodka.
Yeah.
He knew more about vodka than I did, and I just consume
And vodka's not his drink.
It's not his consumption. No, he doesn't. It's not his gig. But no, he seemed really cool. I enjoyed talking with him.
Me
he
too.
had some really interesting things, and I think his answers were spot on.
Agree.
A lot of his ideas were great. I think, especially with the rocket fire questions, I think he did really exceptionally well with the rocket fire. And what we do here is we like to review the rocket fire questions on this last segment and what he said, and we can maybe all talk about these things as a group talk.
Group hug. Group hug.
Group hug. Hey. All right. Anyway, so this is Johnny Rocket. We're going to review the rocket fire for episode 50.
Wait, who are you again?
I am.
That's Johnny Rocket. I'm Kurt.
And you're
That's
Johnny Rocket.
That's
I'm Johnny Rocket.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Johnny Rocket. How you doing?
Hi.
You would never. That was uncanny. Nobody will ever know. In fact, we could ditch him, and you can do this.
I'm Heather Nixon. All right.
Is that how I sound?
No, you got to say hello.
Hello. I'm the voice of reason. Is that good?
No, you sound snotty when you say it.
Yeah, that did sound a little.
That's
snotty.
That's how he goes. You know what you said, and you were like,
That's the way couples are, though.
Yeah.
Like my wife will be like, honey, and I'll be like, honey.
That's all you hear. It's like fucking morphed in this shit.
And she was actually just being super sweet. Like, honey, do you want some dinner? And I'm like, honey, you want some dinner?
Get off my fucking back, bitch.
Right.
God.
You're always bitching at me.
I'm an asshole. I'm such an asshole.
You are, but that's cool. That's why we love you here. All right, so rocket fire questions. Number one, we asked Nicholas Sarwark do people have the right to be stupid?
And of course the answer is
yeah.
Heather, come on, go ahead.
Go ahead. You want us to talk about this?
He gave us the best idea for T-shirts ever, and we are going to get them printed up. It's
Fucking A.
libertarianism.
We're gonna capitalize on this.
Libertarianism, the right to be stupid.
I love it.
Well, it sounds, I don't know if that's a good idea because I
think it's a fantastic idea.
It's hilarious.
It is pretty funny. You could take it in either direction.
Well, but it's true though. It's true though.
But then we have a huge market because not only would maybe libertarians buy them, but the people that think libertarians are stupid will buy them. So we're doubling the market.
Right. Well, and we have in the Libertarian Party, there are a lot of really smart motherfuckers.
Right.
We have had many of them on this show.
Right.
And I think...
Including Nicholas Sarwark.
Go ahead and say it.
Yeah.
Say it, Kurt.
Steven Nielsen.
Well, no, he's really smart, but we've had some really smart libertarians on the show.
Okay. Are you expecting something from me right now?
I'm waiting for a ... Wow.
No, I'm saying the smartest motherfuckers that we've had on this show would wear that T-shirt.
Probably.
They would think it was hilarious.
Tim Turner would love it.
Tim Turner would love it. Steven Nielsen would love it.
Nicholas Sarwark
would love it. Yes.
C. Michael Pickens would wear
it. Yes. All of these people.
Yeah.
Smart motherfuckers.
Paul Addis would wear it.
Yep. Oh, St. Paul would love that.
Mm-hmm. America right there in the bottom. Actually,
we need to...
Holland.
We need to copyright that shit tonight.
We should. You're right.
All right. Number 2, do rights come from God or do rights come from humanity? Ooh, that's a tough one.
You see, now you're going...
it's all philosophical.
Political and religious.
You know what? think God's come from rights come from God. God comes from humanity. Well,
God
that
does
might be
come
true.
from. Well, yeah. If you
I might be right there.
There are a lot of people who believe that God comes from humanity, that we made him up.
That's true. But then if God comes from humanity and God gives you rights, then obviously rights either can both come from God and humanity.
I would say, yeah, if a person doesn't believe in God, they're probably not going to like that question. But if either way, whatever you believe about you, whoever your deity is, then you're probably going to like, okay, one and the same.
Well, we said, I think that's beautifully stated, though. The do rights come from God? And some people would argue that humanity has created God. Well, then if humanity has created God, and then God gives rights, obviously the answer is humanity
But
gives
again,
rights.
only to those in humanity that believe in God, because those who believe that God is made up, then no, rights do not come from God.
How about this?
But then conversely, if you believe that God created humanity, then here we are with one and the same.
Right.
And then you're in the Tea Party.
So how about this? I think the correct answer to that, me personally, is both.
I would just go with the answer is yes. That would be my answer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, and I wouldn't even elaborate.
Right
I would
on.
just be like 1 second answer.
I take issue with the question.
I don't have an issue with the question. I think it's a very valid question.
God should have nothing to do with rights. Absolutely. It has nothing to do with government.
Well, there's natural rights, and natural rights come from humanity in a sense. So, and if people believe in humanity, then there's natural rights, and where do natural rights come? Define God? I don't know.
I think
it's a big question.
There's a stream of logic there, but it could go in so many different directions.
It can go in big circle. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have the answer. All I know is that.
And then you got to argue which God and which rights does he think that we have? Because
Thor.
there's lots of gods who think I have no rights.
It was Thor.
Hold on. If you look at natural rights, though, in the sense of natural rights, like nature, there it is. Survival of the fittest.
Where? I don't see it.
Yeah, this is weird.
Go to the woods. All right.
Okay.
Hang out in the woods for a
Next
week.
time I'm in the woods, I'll be like, oh, yeah.
Natural rights.
I'm going to be calling you. Hopefully I'm near a cell
I
tower
want
in
to
the
clarify,
woods.
there are lots of people who might say, yes, our rights come from God.
Yeah.
And then they also believe that there are parameters on that. They honestly believe that there are certain people who do not have rights or have less rights than other people. So this is just a non-argument. There should be no God in the question.
I don't know. I think God should be in the question because some people believe rights come from God.
And here
that's
we are
not-
having an intelligent, intellectual conversation about
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. Is there ever a good reason to go to war? I think so. I think, obviously, Nicholas Sarwark thought the same reason. Obviously, if we are personally attacked, Pearl Harbor, great example. Should have gotten involved.
9/11, great example.
9/11, sure. But I think we were skewed in who our enemy was.
That's right.
I don't think,
We went after the wrong people.
yeah, it's like, hey, we had 9/11, and we're going to go to Iraq.
We're going to go attack that guy who tried to kill my daddy.
Right.
Right.
I don't know. Again, I don't know. That's a tough question. That's like probably the hardest question for me as a libertarian to understand is what is justifiable for war? And, how do we support our allies with entanglements? For example, I always use this analogy. Let's just say all three of us are walking down the street and we're all independent countries. Country of Kurt.
I got my own country. Yeah.
Country of Heather and country of Rocket.
Heatherland.
Heatherland, land of Heather, right? So we're all walking down the street and somebody just comes up out of nowhere and starts beating the fuck out of
Kurt
country.
It's going to, I knew it was going to Kurt. I knew it.
You just like the most threatening.
No, I'm
Well, if you
the
would've
most
said-
beat upable.
Well, if he would have said me, then there's the whole,
I have to
chivalry.
fight with her.
Right, yeah, totally.
I have to have an argument. Why would you
Well,
pick
and we're
me?
both dudes. We have to.
Right. No one's going to mess with
You
her.
have to protect
No,
the
you're not
poor,
going to
weak
beat up a
woman.
girl, country.
Right. So sorry. You just...
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And
So anyways,
because you're Johnny Goddamn Rocket and you're not going to get beat up. Right?
okay. Let's just say Johnny Goddamn Rocket's getting beat up, right? No, we could do that. We could say that.
All right.
Do you
That's cool.
deserve it?
No. I'm walking down the street, maybe because I owed some money or whatever. All right, fine. I'm getting beaten up. What would you guys do? Would you just sit here and go, well, you haven't obviously have an initiated force against me?
Heather and I would probably go to a bar and talk about it. Like, okay, let's make this quick. We've got time for a couple shots.
He shouldn't have been being an asshole.
For question number one, does he deserve it?
Right,
Like that
right,
last
right.
time?
Okay, but you know what I'm getting at. Well, you would jump in. Every normal person would jump in.
Sure.
Right? But if they're your allies, your friends, I'm not just saying like, we're just going to go over here just because it's for the sake of war. But if you have an actual legitimate ally, to me, that makes sense. I would help you out.
Sure.
Israel, kind of a tricky question. Like some people go, well, do they really need our help? It's kind of like hanging out with a really big dude, and you're like, that guy's got it. He knows what he's
good.
doing.
He's good. I'm going to leave him.
I'll stand in the back and go motherfucking Israel.
Right.
But I'm not going to like jump in.
But with the same analogy, if the three of us are walking down the street and you pick a fight and you're in the wrong, I might not have your back, bro.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you pick the fight and it's actually legitimate, that you were just like, I'm just minding my own business,
right,
walking around. Like World War II, for example. Germany was a bunch of fucking assholes.
They were fucking assholes.
And they deserved
they had some shit coming.
Everything that they got.
Fucking A.
They deserved everything that they had coming towards them. All right. What do you think of anarcho-capitalism? Well,
here's my answer.
Okay.
Nope.
Well, here's the thing. I'm a constitutional minarchist. I think there's logic to what they have to say.
Sure.
There's logic in purist libertarian ideals. I get it. I don't know. Murray Rothbard. He's smart. He's brilliant. I get it. Read a lot of his stuff. I don't know. I can't swallow no government. I can't. There's got to be something.
I don't think it makes a lot of sense.
I like the constitutional republic ideal. I really do like that idea.
The state of anarchy is only going to work, as he mentioned. He mentioned utopia. Is everybody is on board and has good intentions and isn't going to hurt everybody, but that isn't how human nature is. There's always going to be somebody who's greedy, who wants to take power, who is going to take advantage of the other people.
Yep.
And the biggest and the baddest will end up ruling us all, and then it's a dictatorship.
Well, and also what happens with anarchy is it's a vacuum. And when you have anarchy, a vacuum will be filled. And something is going to fill that position. I'd rather know my enemy than an enemy that I do not know.
I think that the government is bad at business. Very, very, very bad at business. So if the government gets involved in business, run. Mm-hmm. When they start wanting to make laws about business and tell us how we need to run our business and that kind of thing, I think we're fucked.
Right.
But do we need law? Do we need, I say that carefully, I don't mean lawmakers making laws every day. I mean, do we need police? Absolutely.
I think so too, man. I think, we need police and military.
Yeah.
At the very minimum. And courts and laws.
Yeah.
And the purpose of government, in my opinion, is to protect individual rights and liberties of the individual by actually enforcing those laws. Because the only reason government exists so that we don't have to worry about our shit when we're gone. So if we didn't have government and I left for the day to go to work, I could come home and my shit could be stolen because there was no law to protect it.
Right. So you build up a pile of wealth, whatever that is,
right.
And all of a sudden you can't leave your home because you're afraid somebody's going to come steal it.
Right. Thomas Hobbes said basically you can either create wealth, you could steal wealth, or you could spend your time protecting the wealth you've already had.
Right.
And this is what, with government, they can at least protect you to some extent and protect your liberties and protect your rights.
Well, and I think people have decided, especially some libertarians, that government is a bad word. And if you look at the root, it's like the government is the people.
Right.
And so if it gets back to the true pure form that government is the people representing the other people, then it's a good thing.
Right.
Sure.
I agree.
Totally agree.
Where do you stand in regards to intellectual property rights? Again, we're going to go back. Kurt, we were talking about this last week, I think. We were talking about Disney. I'm kind of at a loss on this one because to me, I feel that intellectual property rights of the creator should be protected. And that is a liberty. It is property, and the government should be there to secure that liberty. How long it secures that liberty, I disagree with what's going on with Disney.
The 128
28 years plus life, whatever the hell it is. The original intent, 28 years. What do you guys think? If I write a record, I could lose.
I don't think 28 years is long enough.
Was you?
Personally.
Okay. What? How long?
I think when we discussed this last week, I think my favorite answer was life. Till that person's gone.
That's a great answer.
So you shouldn't have the right to pass that down to your children?
You could, and there's an argument there, but it seems to me that is a better answer than 28 years, and certainly a better answer than 128 years. And,
Right.
You know,
Where do you draw the line?
Where do you want to draw the line? Yeah.
So it's actually attached to the person.
I think that makes sense.
It kind of makes sense.
You know what? I'm going to go with you on that. I think that's
So
a
what
very logical answer. Go ahead.
So what if there is some sort of intellectual property that is owned by a corporation because it was created by the employees of that company?
And they bought it or whatever.
They own it because it's their employees created it
now
while
you threw
they're
a fucking wrench in it.
That's-
God damn it.
She's right, though.
It's
I don't
what
know.
I'm-
Absolutely right.
I don't know.
You
I was-
did. And now you sound tired.
But yeah, the moment is past.
No, I'm with
so
you.
again, so if these companies put money into think tanks and they hire talented people and pay them for their time, so what they create on company time belongs to the company. So should the intellectual property rights belong to that company as long as they exist?
I think so. My gut instinct is yes.
And then if you have intellectual property, can you sell it?
Yes.
Yeah, you can.
Yes.
Of course you could sell it.
And then again, so if it transfers to another company
Okay.
for the life of that company?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's a great point, Heather. Yeah, you can always sell that right or that intellectual property to someone else.
Right. So if whatever company, if I work for Disney and
But they still do that. People could do that now.
I create a character and they make millions of dollars on it. That is not my character. It belongs to Disney, even though I technically thought of it.
Sure, but you were on Disney's dime when you created it.
Right.
That's right.
But they're not going to sell you Mickey Mouse. It's not going to happen.
They might.
No.
Everything has a price, bro.
No.
$34 trillion will buy Mickey Mouse.
I don't know. Well, hey, Star Wars was bought.
Right.
You know, I don't know. That's a good question, though. It's a tough one to answer. But again, I think that there is some legitimate value in protecting and even intellectual property. And it's the government's job. I feel if the government, being a minarchist that I am, has the right to protect those properties and those ideas. All right. Does pork barrel legislation and earmarks go against the original intent of the Constitution?
What is pork barrel? Talk to me.
Basically,
I don't understand.
Basically, pork barrel legislation is they're going to attach something to a bill that would benefit their state or it will benefit someone else in the state or whatever, an organization in that state. So let's just say...
it sounds like our recent gun law in Washington.
It's a little bit different than that. So let's just say a bill is put forth and it is background checks for guns. And that is the bill.
Uh-huh.
But then so-and-so, some other guy in the Congress said, well, I'll support your bill to help you get it passed, but you have to attach $1 million for my almond festival back in Hotuck, Louisiana.
Okay.
And then somebody else says, oh, yeah, you'll get my support, but I want $3 million to build a bridge in Seattle. And so there's all these things attached to the bill beyond the original intent.
Okay. Yeah. Now that I understand it, will you ask the question again, please?
Okay, so basically, does pork barrel legislation and earmarks go against the original intent of the Constitution? And yes, Heather explained it really quite well.
Yeah.
I guess it does go against.
I think it does.
It's swaying votes.
Yeah.
You're
buying votes.
You're buying votes. The capability of being swung, you could lose your principles because you want to contribute to your own home state or you owe somebody something because they helped you get elected and now you have to put your principles on the line to vote a certain way. And I think it's just a downward spiral.
Well, and it sounds like it convolutes laws and or legislation because now we have now in the example we have a gun law that includes an almond festival.
Right.
Right. Now we got a big convoluted fucking mess.
But yeah, you could just keep putting fucking money on shit and keep putting money on stuff and it just doesn't make any fucking sense to me. And I don't know. I just feel like there is room for corruption. In our founding fathers were fucking experts at this shit. Apparently, they had less to govern, and so I just think it opens up for corruption. What if you just voted on each individual issue as it was?
Now we're talking, yes.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
And fuck these 350-page bills.
Right.
Right. So you would have to go in front of Congress and say, I'm putting this forward to get $1 million to have an almond festival.
Right. And it would normally go away.
Everyone would go,
Right. Go fuck yourself.
Right. But
Right.
but if you bury it in the back of this bill that has a great front on it, background checks for guns. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Exactly.
And all the festivals.
Exactly.
Stupid fuckers.
Well, it's not crony capitalism. It's just cronyism, period. Why is having a normal person running for office better than a career politician? Well, because they're the actual... They're innocent, when they first come into politics.
Right.
People,
it's like having a 10-year-old.
Right. They come in and they're like, I'm going to do really good. And then when they get out, they're like, I'm fucking corrupt. You know what I mean? I think the system naturally corrupts you.
Yeah. And the normal person's going to be like, you know what, man? I think candy bars for everyone.
Right. They have their intent is true. I think anyone who goes into office, their intent is true.
The comment,
unless they're like owned by someone or like their dad.
The comment was made that you should vote for the newcomer over the incumbent because anybody who wants to be elected to office wants power, and that's bad. But if you're the newcomer, you're also trying to get into office so that you have power. So isn't it the exact same thing?
No, because incumbents will generally always hold their positions longer just because they've understood the game. People don't like change. When people see change, like, hey, you're going to move, and it may not be a better move, but it could be slightly better.
I think Nicholas's argument was for change, period.
Right,
Yeah.
and that is a good thing. But
Period.
also, the people have to be qualified to do the job. You can't just hire some Joe Blow who, only made it through the 6th grade. He has to be able to, put forth bills. He has to articulate them to get people to pass them.
He has to look good in a suit.
Yeah, but I still think Joe Blow would be more of a voice for the actual individual, and he might still have some actual morality left in him versus the career politician whose soul has been sucked out by the system. I don't know. Indians have been exploited in history. The government has made certain contracts with tribes. Should we always, honor those conditions or contracts? Yes.
Well, duh.
Well, but some people argue it's like, well, it's been like 250 years and fuck them. And I'm like,
fucking A.
Fucking A. Fuck them Indians. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I am all about supporting the contracts that we made. If we told them we're going to do something for them, then we have to honor that. That's point blank.
Well, there's a difference between we had the president come in and make a retarded decision and do whatever with a different country. The next president might come in and go, okay, that was a bad decision. We're going to change that back to the way it was.
Right.
That's a lot different than looking at a situation and going, okay, we made this agreement with the people. And we fucked them over for the last, however long.
230 years, at least, plus.
Yeah, and that's gotten better and worse and better and worse and better and worse. But, and to think that, it's been a long time, let's just stop honoring there's no integrity to that whatsoever.
I just think we should just continue to honor it as long as we can within reason. There will be a cutoff time, I'm sure.
Right, you can't just change the rules because now all of a sudden they're making money hand over fist at the casinos and they don't have to pay taxes on cigarettes and we want a piece of that.
Wait a minute.
We're going to change
That's a lot of money.
What is your opinions on Che Guevara? He didn't respect human rights, and why is he popular?
I don't even know this guy.
Che Guevara, he's the guy who is on the Rage Against the Machine t-shirts. And I think that's why he's popular, to be honest with you.
I like Rage Against the Machine.
But the guy with the beret, and he's all like...
I always thought that was like the lead singer of the band.
No, that's Che Guevara.
Okay.
He's a fucking fucktard.
All right.
Fuck him.
What's he all about? What's his thing?
He's just a...
Sum this guy up in 60 seconds.
He basically had a mission. He banned books. He basically banned speech. He banned everything. He didn't like gays. He killed them. He did everything. It was inhumane.
Okay.
Against humanity, who just a fucktard. Basically, he killed people because they didn't agree with him.
Right.
And he burned...
So he killed a few people.
Right. And no, it's a Rage Against the Machine t-shirt deal.
Okay.
Right? What do you think of public sector unions? Heather, really quick, wrap this up. Last question.
I believe that if any employee wants to have representation, they should have the right, but I don't think it should be required. As it is in this state, you must be part of the union, and I don't think that that's okay.
I'm against mandatory forced unions.
Yep, I have to agree with that.
If it's voluntary, one other thing. Again, but when you join the state unions, that's a different world. You have to join the unions, and they're forcing you to do it. And that is my
and
problem.
All the other regulations where you don't get union benefits for a certain amount of time, and
Right.
blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah,
A lot of
blah.
stupid
And
shit.
you have to suck this person's dick and blah, 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 blah.
Well,
Fuck.
I'm okay with that. But
okay.
I mean,
Just making sure.
Right.
Yeah, I just have a problem with the whole fucking union system. I think that if it's voluntary, again, it's a completely different realm, a different world. It doesn't, whatever.
Whatevs, man.
If me and you and Heather were like, hey, we're not going to work for nothing anymore. And then they're like, okay, fuck off. And we're like, okay.
We'll start our own union and give ourselves raises.
Right. Exactly. You know what I mean? We have the we can voluntarily join an alliance and then go against the man.
Sure.
That's cool.
Right.
But to have it like mandated that you do that, not very cool.
Yeah. No.
Not very cool. And plus they're criminals.
And I
it's
don't want to work for 9 months out of the year and get paid vacation for the other 3.
It's creating artificial wages.
Is there 3? How many months in the year are there?
Right. It's artificial wages, and it's not really what they're valued at. And it's just, public sector unions involved with government, and then therefore you're going to... Poor bastard who can do it for fucking half the price.
I would have to add that devalues real work.
It does. It does.
Yep.
Anyway, so this is Johnny Rocket here at the Johnny Rocket Launchpad, launching ideas in your direction, and Northwest only rock and roll libertarian radio show. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Kurt Nelson.
Yes, sir.
Voice of Reason, Heather Nixon. 50th episode, guys.
Great show, man.
I love you guys.
Great show.
Heather, love you. Anyways, it's Johnny Rocket here at the Johnny Rocket Launchpad, launching ideas in your direction, the Northwest only rock and roll libertarian radio show. Launching ideas in your direction. Rock and roll.